Dragon Ball The Breakers just finished its open beta this past weekend, and here's what I think about it. We're gonna start off with the bad, because I want to get this out of the way, like to keep it positive, and honestly, I don't have many bad things to say about this game. But there are a couple of things. Starting with, you cannot transfer your beta items that you bought and that you earned to the full game. Now, this is subjective. I'm not going to put this as a knock against the game because some betas do this and some don't. And this game gave us a lot of free things during the beta, so I can understand why you can't transfer it to the full game. But one thing that was confusing that I didn't really like was that you couldn't change your character once they were created. So if you wanted to change their height or their build, or you wanted to change their hairstyle, you actually have to go in and create a new character, and I wasn't sure if that would wipe away my current character or not. So the character creation system is a little confusing, and I would like some clarity on it. So that was one thing I didn't necessarily like about the beta. And of course, there were some glitches in the queue system, and it took a long time to get matches at times. Now, of course, this is just because it was the beta. It's gonna have glitches. That's why you have a beta, to find them so you can get rid of them before the launch. And since it is a beta, it doesn't have the full player base of people that want to play this game. So of course, there wouldn't be enough people to be able to have matches all the time during the beta. That makes sense. But there was one gameplay thing that I didn't like as much, and it was the change level system. So in the game, you get these little spheres, and that lets you take on the powers of Z fighters like Tien, Goku, Vegeta, or Krillin to fight the Raider for a little bit. But you have to put them in levels of 1, 2, and 3. And when you're in the game, you have to collect these energy blocks to get enough energy to transform into those heroes. However, you get to level 1, then level 2, then level 3, and it doesn't seem like there's any benefit from getting to level 3. So wouldn't you just put your best guys in level 1 so you can use them the earliest and then not even get to level 3? Which is another thing I didn't like, because honestly, after collecting a lot of energy blocks, it seemed like it was impossible to get to level 3 during a match, or at least very hard, and you wouldn't get there until like near the end of the match. So it kind of seemed useless, and I don't understand why they tiered your different transformations. But that is it for the things that I didn't like about the game, and now I want to talk about the things that I did like. First of all, the customization system was fun and deep. You had customization options not just for your survivor, but also for the Raider. You can buy different lines for the Raider and different emotes that they can say during the match, which was cool. And you can also eventually unlock different color palettes for the Raiders. Now, for the customization for your survivor, that was obviously a lot more fleshed out, and you have options for the different clothing items, but there are also cool accessories you can put on, like different backpacks. I had one that had Gregory in the back, and it was kind of like a basket. That was fun. You can have Giru flying around, you can have a sword in your back, you can have little keychains, and you can get more emotes and stamps, and you can even get different versions of the way that you appear onto the map at the start of the match. So the customization system was really cool. Some things I liked about the queue system is that you could set a preference. For instance, you can choose whether you wanted to be the Raider or the Survivor, or if you didn't care, and it would take that into account when it was matchmaking for the match. Another thing you could do was invite people to your room so you can make sure that you get in a match with your friends, which is something I appreciate. Another thing that was cool about the queue system is that you can do other things while you're waiting for a match to pop up. So you can customize your character, you can change out their abilities in their kit, and other things. The one thing you couldn't do was buy more transformation spheres, but since you could do everything else that the menu in the hub had to offer while you were waiting, there must be a reason you couldn't do that. But I did like that you could do most things while you were queued for a match. Now let's talk about the actual gameplay. This game is fun. The gameplay and the mechanics are solid, and they are fun. It's easy to pick up, but there's a lot of customization and a lot of different strategies you can use. And since this is a game where it's players against players, one is the Raider and the rest of the survivors, the difficulty level is going to be fluid. Some matches may be very hard, some matches may be easy, a lot of matches are going to be in between. But when I was playing, I felt like the game was challenging as both the Raider and the Survivor, but it wasn't so hard that I felt frustrated. So I really liked the balance of gameplay difficulty that the beta had, so that was really well done. And I had fun as both roles. It was fun to be a survivor. When I was a survivor, I was running around trying to collect stuff. When I saw the raider was close, I was legitimately nervous and even afraid at times. My heart was pumping. It was exciting. It was action-packed. I had a lot of fun as a survivor. And when you permanently die as a survivor and you can't be brought back, you can withdraw from the match without any penalties. This is great, so you don't have to just sit there dead waiting for like 10 minutes for the match to end before you can do a new one. It's not really worth your time at that point unless you really want to see if your team won. So it's really cool that you can just bow out and queue up for another game. Now, I also had a lot of fun as the Raider. It felt like the Raider was overwhelmingly powerful, so powerful in all their forms. But you aren't unbeatable. So it has a nice balance, but it's also super fun as the Raider. So I liked both, and the gameplay was spectacular. Now, here are things that I want at release for this game. Of course, I want the bugs and glitches fixed. Since they had a beta to find those bugs, they better be fixed at launch. But another thing I want is more maps. We know we're getting the 3 original Z villains as the first 3 raiders, so that's Boo, Cell, and Frieza. But I don't know if we're getting more maps. And there was 2 in the beta. I would like at least 1 more, so 3 at launch, 1 map per raider. I think would be a nice kind of scale or a nice balance. So I would like more maps at launch. The biggest thing I want though for this game at release is for it to be successful. I don't want this game to be dead on arrival, as some people think it might be, because it was so fun, and I think there is a place for this game in the Dragon Ball lineup of gaming content. I know a lot of people were complaining, saying why are they working so much on this game when they could be developing Xenoverse 3? Well, first of all, they might still be developing Xenoverse 3, but also, this game is really fun, and it plays completely different from Xenoverse 3, even though it's actually connected to that game's story in that world. The hub is actually an offshoot of Kanton City, which is really cool. So I think that it was definitely worth it for them to make this game, and to release it, because I think it's really fun. Other content creators have found it to be super fun, and I'm really excited to play the full release. Those were my thoughts on Dragon Ball The Breakers open beta. I hope you liked them, and if you played the beta, did you enjoy it? Let me know in the comments below. If you haven't done any of the YouTube stuff, please do so. Subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. That really does help out the channel and helps bring more content to you guys. If you want to see my thoughts on a potential Xenoverse 3 coming, then watch this video right here where I talk about a Xenoverse 2 survey that hints that we might get a Xenoverse 3. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, Conclan, and just remember, be as daring as a dinosaur. Peace out.
I am Nicholas Khan. Conclan gonna get strong. Any obstacle in my way, I bust down and keep moving along. Keep moving along.